Calling from a 475 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Joshua from Connecticut.
Joshua from Connecticut. What's on your mind? Got to be quick.
Okay. Hopefully I can be quick. So I basically just wanted to call because I have some disagreements about what you guys have been saying about RFK. I think you guys are giving him way too much credit on the whole, Maha crap around the
how are we giving him credit?
Oh, because of this, there's a lot of misinformation going around about the kind of pesticides and food additives that these things are inherently harmful when we don't really have data for that. That's not actually true and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking of things like yellow dye and Skittles.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, you think that those are healthy for you?
Well, I mean, some of the statements that people make about it are
But wait, you're accusing us of running cover for RFK, which is a pretty strong.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just because a lot of people believe these things. I'm just trying to call in to dispel it.
Yeah, I mean, I am interested in RFK creating a wedge with within the Trump administration, and I am far more interested in him passing regulations or attempting to pass regulations to say whatever, you can't put X, Y, or Z in foods, just because I want the precedent set that government can pass regulations. Yes. Because right now, let me tell you something. Honestly, you may be right that it is unfair to, in some way, criticize whatever it is, benzophine, the yellow dye number 3. We may not be giving that a fair shake. But what I'm interested in, as this rising tide of fascism comes in and this complete assault on government, I am interested in what's going to screw up the gears of that machine far more than I am in protecting the commercial value of this pesticide or that pesticide, or of this yellow dye or that yellow dye. I mean, there's no way that one could argue that and it's really ultimately comes down to the calorie density, right? We have such garbage that we sell as food in terms of its calorie. I get that. But to be concerned about those things at this point is honestly like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. I'm more concerned about the Titanic right now. And if throwing a chair off the side is going to somehow slow how the thing is sinking, that's the calculation I'm making.
Well, that's kind of my point, is that that's not the right calculation to make, because there's also financial interest coming in the other direction. And RFK's whole policy initiative are also giving those financial interests the leeway to do whatever they want.
There is no doubt in my mind that everything that RFK is doing, maybe in his mind it's not the case, but ultimately it's driven by a profit motive. But we are in one of those instances where it is Mothra versus Godzilla, and them fighting is only good for us. And any move for him to say, let's say, for instance, we shouldn't have pharmaceutical advertising. I tend to agree with that. Sure. Actually, I actually tend to agree with that. But what's even more important to me is that he's going to be setting a precedent that government regulation is important. And that
he's not doing that, though. That's my point. He's not doing that. That's not what his goal is.
But Sam's saying
I don't know what his goal is, but I'm not promoting his anti-vax stuff. I'm saying that I'm taking this policy and I'm saying this policy is good. And if he is in a position and gets into that position based on that policy, at least publicly, arguing it, which he's come out with videos, I want to see a wedge within that coalition that they have built so that it destroys both of them. And so,
I mean,
Well, I understand it's not like a platonic version of like whether, we can have a debate as to like whether the efficacy of this dye is actually dangerous for you or not, is what you're interested in. But that's not what I'm interested in. Like we're in a different zone, and people have to start to become aware of this, that the things that you're protecting will not exist. They will not exist.
No, but that's exactly my point, is that RFK goes along with what they want to do.
I understand, but I am pushing the parts that's going the same way. I understand, but I am pushing the parts that are going to cause friction. We lost.
I mean, if it's just like you want to kind of deal with
that fight,
destroying things, I guess that's helpful.
Do you understand? We lost. We lost. We lost that fight.
Right.
People need to realize we lost. And the question is like, what can we do now that we've had our arms and legs chopped off from the ground? What can we do to slow their machine? And if saying that, promoting that pharmaceuticals should not advertise on television, or that yellow dye should be taken out of Skittles, somehow gets him, forces him to deliver that, or at least if he doesn't, that they'll pay some price. That's what I'm going to do. I understand that his agenda is not a laudable one. I'm just saying, hold him to his lies, if that's the way you want to conceive of it, so that it creates a wedge within the coalition that elected this guy. That's the point.
I mean, he's going to go and deregulate a lot of other
I got news for you. We're not capable of stopping him from doing whatever he's going to do. What we need to do.
I'm not saying that you're agreeing with
like
him and you think that he's good. I'm just making a point.
No, I understand.
No, it's going to be bad.
But you started this call by saying that we're defending RFK, and that is exactly not.
No, I said that you give him too much credit.
I'm not giving him any credit.
I'm saying that you gave him too much credit.
I'm not giving him any credit. I am using him to gum up the works.
Than what you're giving him.
What?
Okay.
Yes, but I'm not giving him credit. I'm using him to gum up the works. People have to understand this dynamic. We have lost.
I just doubt the utility of that. That's my point.
Well, explain to me what the utility of what you're talking about is.
Well, I mean, it's just what he's going is doing exactly what they want to do and undermining the administrative state. That's exactly his policy platform. So I don't understand how that's helpful for us.
None of it is.
Talking about government,
agriculture.
If he's talking about government regulating corporations, that is the opposite of undermining the administrative state.
Well, not when you look at his policy proposals. The whole math stuff, it's well,
what is the policy proposal?
Actually,
what is the policy proposal? First off, I'm going by the videos that he puts out to his followers. And if he gets up there and says, with a stroke of a pen, we can get rid of the president and get rid of pharmaceutical advertising on television, I want his followers to
I think that's
believe
fine.
that's what's going to happen.
Good. I agree with that.
Okay, so that's what we're doing.
Okay, I just don't know if that's necessarily the means to get to that. And I think that,
Well, you tell me. What's your
showing
option?
that misinformation is bad is just a good thing. I'm not saying that it's your guys' fault. I'm not saying any of that.
No, I understand.
I'm not saying you're supporting
but
him.
What's your strategy?
I mean, it wasn't about a strategy call. So I was just kind of just.
Well,
you
get what you're saying.
You claim that we're defending RFK, and that is exactly not.
No,
what we're
I didn't
doing.
mean to say it that way. If that's what you interpreted, I'm sorry. That's not my.
Totally understand. That is what you said. The point is just that yes, it's going to be really bad. But as Sam has been saying, because this is the worst outcome that we could have anticipated, basically. There's going to be little cracks, right? And what Sam is trying to say is that now that we have lost, we have to look at where we can exploit the cracks. And so this isn't to downplay it. It's just to say, how can we be strategic in the face of such horror?
I will also say, do I think it's going to work? I don't know if anything's going to work. I would say, I think it's unlikely, but it's unlikely. But if we can make one person disillusioned with them, because somebody goes wait, we have the ability to regulate this stuff, and how come we're not doing it? Then it's, Pyrrhic, but it's a small.
I mean, that we are. I mean, that's kind of the point. We are regulating these like food additives and stuff. Like compared to the EU, we actually ban a lot more food dyes than a lot of other countries. So it's just kind of these false assumptions about our regulatory industry.
Good. Let's have more regulation.
Wait,
let's
I just want to underline
that regulation's important.
I have a question about that. I thought the EU was pretty much more severe about regulating things. I know one example, carrageenan, which I know somebody who's allergic to, and all of the science says actually it's fine for you. But this person is definitely allergic to it, and it's regulated to some extent in the EU, especially for newborns or whatever. It's not here. Now that's just one example. Maybe that impression is wrong, but what I see here is notionally the point, like RFK pointing to something that would require what I perspective is a more sort of controlled regulatory environment. Now I don't think he's going to do it. I agree with you, caller, but I think you have to point to that because it is going to fail. And then what happens with all of that, like sort of pent up need to address the medical issues in our country. So I don't think approaching them with too much skepticism or actually saying, hey, this thing you're concerned about is actually safe. Like, I think that needs to be done very carefully and in a broader context where you're acknowledging people's concerns.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I understand your guys' point. I would just say it would be helpful for you guys to have like, you know, a food scientist or immunologist or somebody who has
well, we're definitely going to have immunologists on. I mean, we're going to definitely have immunologists on, but right now all I'm doing is taking videos that he's put out to his followers and knowing that he's not going to do any of those things and trying to promote the idea that that's what he says he's going to do and show that he's going to undermine that. It's not giving him credit. And, you know, I think we can agree, like it would be, I think we should ban pharmaceuticals from advertising. And more importantly, I want the American public to realize that we have the ability to do this, that it's okay to regulate. And then if we ever have an opportunity to have real regulators back in office, because they're going to clean everybody out. Like, I just think that, like, honestly, the thing that it's getting me so sort of ramped up about this is that I think there is a lack of understanding. It's just like where we're headed here. They have thousands of resumes that they're going to fill on these agencies that are headed by people who are just showing their fealty to Trump. And the regulations that they're going to undermine and strip back, and the court has already done this. We need to go back to basics, and there is, which is where people understand that government is there to protect its people. The fact that his regulations are bad, we're going to get bad everything from this administration. I'm trying to pull out, the one thing I'm trying to pull out is to basically go back to like sort of like, you know, the ABCs and explain to a population that voted for Trump that government regulation is important. It's legal, it's constitutional, it is a function of government. The government regulation can be bad at times. And certainly there are regulations that exist today that I don't agree with. But the fact is that like we need to get back to the point where people realize that's a function of government. Right. Yeah. And if we can spin it in some sort of way that people have more faith in our regulatory agencies than not, I mean, that's all I'm concerned about. So if that works, then I'm concerned that there's not going to be any regulatory agencies. I mean, you know, in name only, frankly, but appreciate the call.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Didn't mean to get so exercised by it.
To be honest, it's just
a short fuse season, I think.
We have very few answers. We're trying to give you the answers we can. Like, I mean, but there's just very little that we can do right now. I mean, I think eventually those special elections are going to matter a lot in the coming months about these vacancies that Donald Trump has handed over to his new UFC buddy, Mike Johnson. But outside of that, in the DNC chair race, we basically have to we have to take our, you know, sit there and feel every part of it. There's no way out but through, unfortunately.
What was censoring sheep? Did you all see that Jon Stewart stole Matt and Sam's RFK joke from yesterday's from the show last night? What was it?
What was our joke yesterday?
I don't remember.
Did he say kiss the onion ring?
Swear to God.
If he said that,
No way.
if he did
That wasn't my joke.
we will be very angry, even though I love Jon Stewart.
He was watching.
All right.
You got to be more specific, because then we'll make a whole thing out of this if that's the case.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.